Yeah, let's start this video with my recording gear because that's a really huge part of the final product and how it comes out. You can click to this point of the video if you just want to see the vocal chain. You could really make anything work these days, that's for sure, and that's because of just how good equipment have gotten these days. I'm recording into a TLM 103 and then into an Apollo Mark II, so not the X. You can get the Apollo used for a very reasonable price. So here's the vocal chain. We can first start by playing the vocals just by themselves and you can hear how they sound.
Hey, no, my bro, he know I got problems. If I'm on, it's my show, ain't no debating. She coming later after.
So yeah, really bright and really present vocals. Let's get into the vocal chain. First, I start out with an auto-tune and use whichever one you like. It doesn't really matter, or don't use one at all. You know, this retune speed makes the vocal tune faster or slower.
Hey, no, my bro, he know I got problems. If I'm on, it's my show, ain't no debating. She coming late.
Yeah, you know how YouTubers go over this, blah blah blah. You already heard this a million times before. So let's move on. The next plugin is an EQ. No specific EQ. I'm using this Nectar one. It doesn't really matter. When it comes to these small movements, all EQ do the same basically. And here I notch out some roomy frequencies. Let's just listen to the auto-tune and the Nectar.
Hey, no, my bro, he know I got problems. If I'm on, it's my show, ain't no debate.
You hear that? That sounds like I'm in a room, right?
Hey, no, my bro, he know I got problems.
So then I just notched it out and down to where I felt it fit in the mix.
Hey, no, my bro, he know I got problems. If I'm on, it's my show, ain't no debate.
The same with this frequency.
Hey, no, my bro, he know.
And you know, those you just remove a little bit. Don't just notch them completely out like this.
Hey, no, my bro.
Then your vocal will sound fucked, right? But yeah, be careful about doing this. If you do it too much, it won't sound good. It won't sound natural. But for you to actually get better with these EQ moves and all of that stuff, you actually need to do it. You can't just watch a million tutorials. It won't help you. You can obviously get some guidelines like this, but at the end of the day, you have to do it yourself. You have to figure it out yourself. And that way you know what you like and you can start adding sounds that you perhaps like more than others. With that being said, I don't have a set vocal chain for every voice. I have to do it differently every time. And this is just about doing this for a long periods of time and then figuring out what I like and how I like to set up my vocal chain. The next plugin is Soothe, and this is an optional plugin. I repeat, optional plugin. You don't need to use this plugin. I know it's really expensive, but when and if you have the money to pay for it, then I would suggest you do so. But it's really good what it does. So let's just listen to what it does.
Hey, no, my bro, he know I got problems. If I'm on, it's my show, ain't no debating. She coming late.
It just cleans up the vocal and we can listen to what it takes away right here.
Hey, no, my bro, he know I got problems. If I'm on, it's my show.
So yeah, it just cleans out the vocal. It's not necessary. If you don't want to pay the $150 for it, don't do it. It's not worth it for you then. And we've done very much subtractive until now, but now we have a really like clean voice.
Hey, no, my bro, he know I got problems. If I'm on, it's my.
So we can then move on to some compression.
Hey, no, my bro, he know I got problems. If I'm on, it's my show, ain't no debating. She coming later after I get this paper.
You can hear that the vocal just glues up to your ears a little bit more, and that's what compression basically does. I'm gonna have more videos on how you use compression and what it really does, but that's the gist of it. Just it levels out the vocals so you can hear it better. And I use RVox for this. You can use whichever you have. You don't need to buy this specific compressor. Just use the one you have. If you have very dynamic vocals, like a rap vocal, not specifically like this one. This is more of a singing kind of song. But if you have very dynamic vocals, you can drive this a little bit harder so you can get the vocal more level for the next step, which is de-essing. I use some different de-essers. I maybe use this one or this one. I'm not sure. actually, but let's check.
Hey, no, my bro, he know I got problems. If I'm on, it's my show, ain't no debating.
Okay, so I think I used this one for this song, but let's just go into a part where we can hear the S's.
My show, ain't no debating. If I'm on, it's my show. If I'm on, it's my show.
You can hear it really good here. Use as little or no de-essing if you don't need it, but let's hear it without and then with.
If I'm on, it's my show. Ain't no.
And then with.
If I'm on, it's my show.
You can hear that the vocal sounds a bit dull, but we'll be adding to that later. Also, one way you can do de-essing is to do it manually. You can see these S's here. If I can just make them. You can notch them out like this and then bring down the gain.
If I'm on, it's my show.
Let's turn off the de-esser.
If I'm on, it's my show. Ain't.
And then you can hear the S. It's a lot more quiet. This takes a lot more time, but this could be the best way to do it actually. But so if you have the time, I strongly suggest you do this. But I usually do a mixture that I do a manual and then a de-esser at the top, and then just catch the peaks like this.
If I'm on, it's my show.
Right, but you have to dial that into taste. Then we have some more compression, specifically the 1176 style compressor, one of the most legendary compressors, and it is that for a reason. It sounds really good on vocals. So I've heard literally 100 videos where pros mix vocals, and 99% of the time the artist usually tracks through this, or the mixer puts this on in the box. So let's go over it and you can see how much compression I'm getting.
If I'm on, it's my show, ain't no debating. She coming later after I get this paper.
So yeah, you can see sometimes it jumps up to -10 and then it goes around -3 to -5. You've probably heard on YouTube some people say, don't go over blah blah blah, don't go over -5 dB blah blah. But yeah, that's just bullshit. Don't listen to that. I've been in studios and watched pro mixers, and that's not something they even acknowledge. So compress the vocal as much or as little as it's needed. And then we have some additive EQ, and this is where you can give the vocal more of a distinctive and your own sound. So I would advise to use a vintage style EQ, not like this one. And this is because it forces you to listen to how the sound is affected by what you do on the knobs right here. You can't see what it does, you have to hear it. And this will help you develop your ear for mixing, and it further strengthen your ears to what frequency you like, right? This is a Pultec style EQ, and let's just hear what this does.
If I'm on, it's my show, ain't no debating. She coming later after I get this paper. She wanna know what powers up first.
Yeah, you can see that I boost 7 dB at 12K with a broad band, and that just means that the boost is not only at 12K, but like it goes like this. And then I have a boost at 5K, I dip 1 dB at 200, and I boost at 1000, and I boost a little bit of the low end. And this is what I did listening to the vocals in the song. I wouldn't advise to mix your vocals without hearing the beat under it, because you can hear that it sounds very thin right now without anything else playing. But when I bring it into the mix, you can hear that it fits really well. Then finally, at the end of the chain, I have a LA2A style compressor, which, as the 1176, you've probably heard people talking about. This compressor does not that much really, you can see here.
If I'm on, it's my show, ain't no debating.
Okay, I'm lying, it does. It does kind of a lot. It just jumps up to -3 decibels, and that's a perfect example of, I don't usually do that with this compressor, but in this song it just sounded right? So just experiment and try different things, man. That's all you can do, to be honest. And then I have a soothe at the end here, just does some de-essing.
If I'm on, it's my show, ain't.
And then we can listen to the vocals within the mix, and they sound like this.
Hey, no, my bro, he know I got problems. If I'm on, it's my show, ain't no debating. She coming later
right? It sounds very different than just playing by itself. It sounds almost too thin here. But when you get it in the mix, it just gets that fullness. So that's why I advise you to mix your vocals while you listen to the beat. If you want to hear the full song, check out the link in the bio and go stream that shit on Spotify.
And on my bro,